back to this channel. Here we are going to be working on this mechanical drawing for this year 2026 National Examination Council, that is NECO mechanical drawing question. And here we have that the figure 1.3 shows part of a step down pulley. With the part fully assembled, draw the Roman figure 1 front elevation, Roman figure 2 left side view, and Roman figure 3 sectional front elevation on the cutting plane BB. So here we have the parts as you can see them here. So here we have the frame, and then we have the bolt and nut, then we have the pulley, and then we have the bush. Okay, so this is the front elevation of the frame, and then here we have the end elevation of the frame. Okay, so what they expect us to do is to bring in this pulley in here, and then we insert okay, so let's take it this way. So supposed to go this way. We are putting the bush inside the pulley, then we bring the pulley in here, and then we put in the bolt and we lock it up with the nut. But we have a washer here that we have to lay. We have to lay this washer on this point or this face of the bolt, and then this washer will be laid on this face of the frame. Then we lay the nut on it. So that's what they expect us to do, and that's why they said with the part fully assembled we have to draw the front elevation. So let's work on the front elevation. We are going to have separate videos for each of these questions. Okay, so let's go and see what we are doing. So we are going to start with the construction of the pulley. Okay, let's talk about dimensions that we have on the pulley. So we have total length from here to here to be 45, and then we have the diameter of this part to be 25, and then the diameter of this from here to here is 45. Diameter from here to here is 60 millimeters. We have the length from here to here to be 15, and from here to here we have it to be 29. Okay, so that is what we are going to start with first. So let's see how that goes. So what we are to do now is that we are to draw a horizontal center line. So here we have horizontal center line like this. So here we have horizontal center line, and then so we are going to take a measurement. So we take a measurement from here. So we are to take a measurement for the pulley. So we have to take a measurement of from here. So let's take a measurement. So let's put a mark here. Then from here we take a measurement of 15 millimeters. This is 15 millimeters, and then we take 29 millimeters also from this point here. So this is 29 millimeters, and then from here we take 45 millimeters. Here is 45 millimeters. So at this point we are to draw a vertical line on each of these points. So we take a vertical line from here to here. Okay, so then we also take a vertical line, so from here to here, and then we take a vertical line, so from here. Okay, then we also take a vertical line from here. Okay, so then the next thing that we are to do is that we are to take the thickness, or sorry, the length of each one of them using this diameter that we have here. So for this, let's start with this small one here. Diameter is 25, so that means half of 25 is 12.5. So we take a measurement of 12.5. So from here we take 12.5. So this is 12.5 millimeters. Okay, down, and we take 12.5 millimeters up. Okay, so here we have this to be. This is 12.5 here. So we have this, and then so for this one, so we have diameter to be 45. So half of 45 is 22.5. So we take a measurement of 22.5 millimeters down. So this is 22.5 down, and then 22.5 millimeters up. So this is 22.5 millimeters. So millimeters up here. So then for this one, so we have diameter to be 60. So we take 30 millimeters down. So 30 millimeters down. So this is 30 millimeters and 30 millimeters up. So we have this. Okay. So for this, well, for what we have here, so what we just have to do now is to for this particular one, so we draw a horizontal line. So from here to here, so making it a thick line at once. So we have this, and then for this part, so we draw from here to here like this. Okay, so and then for this, so we also draw from here to here. So we have this this pen. Okay, so then we draw this from here to here and draw this from here to here. So coming up here, so we do the same thing. So by drawing the line from here to here, and then we come up, so we also draw from here to here. Then coming up here, so we also draw from here to here. All right, so that is what we have for the pulley now. So then with this line, we have to make it a thick line. So from here down to this point, and this also make it a thick line from here to this point. Okay, so we have this, and this also will make it so a thick line. So from here to here, so we have this, and then so this line will also make it a thick line from here to here. So here we have this. All right, so that is for the pulley. So now so let's bring in the bush. Okay, so when we insert the bush inside it, it will be hidden from outside, so that is why we are to draw it with short dashes line. So the diameter of the bush as we have it here is shown to us as 19 millimeters. So 19 millimeters by 2, so that will give us 9.5. That will give us 9.5 millimeters. So we take a measurement of 9 millimeters. So 9.5 millimeters. This is 9.5. Okay, so this is 9.5 millimeters here, 9.5 here, and then coming up here we have this to be 9.5 millimeters. Okay, so making 19 millimeters. Okay, so the length of the pulley as it's shown to us here is 45, which is total length from here to here. So what we just have to do here, so we are going to draw this with short dashes line. So we draw this line with short dashes line. So from here, so we take it as short dashes line like this end. Okay, so we have this. Then coming up here, we do the same thing. So we make it short dashes line. So from here, okay, so we have this. Okay, so this is for the bush that we have here. So we have inserted it into the pulley. Okay, so let's go for the next thing that we are to do here. So the next thing that we are to do is that let's work on this frame part. Let's work on the frame part. So for the frame, we have that this I'm going to do it. First of all, so we have that. Okay, so let's work. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do. So we have a washer here, or there's a little protrusion on this surface and also on this surface. So we are told that the thickness of that is 2 millimeters written here, and the diameter is 19, which is the same as diameter of the bush that we inserted into the pulley. So we have to work on that. So to work on that, we are to extend this line out. So this line for the bush, so we extend it out here and we extend it out here. Okay, so we have this. Then coming down here, so we also extend this out and we extend this out here. Okay, so now we have to take a measurement of 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters. So from this surface here, so we take 2 millimeters outward. Okay, 2 millimeters outward here, and then from here also we take 2 millimeters outward. So this is 2 millimeters. So at this point we are to draw a vertical line. So from we draw a vertical line. So from here to here. So here we have this vertical line for that part, and then so we have this vertical line for that part. So like this. So we have the vertical line from here to here. So we have this. Okay. All right. So we have this now. Okay. So now, so let's go and work on the pulley. So we have to make this line. So make it. So we complete it like this, and we also complete this. All right, so we have this now. So for that part on the face of the frame, okay, So for the frame, so let's now work on the frame. So for the frame, so we have the thickness from here to here to be 15 millimeters. It is shown here that it is 15 millimeters after this 2 millimeters. So we have what? We have 15 millimeters from here to here. So we have to work on that. Okay, so let's first of all, so on this surface here, we have to extend this vertical line. So we have to extend it out. So we take it out like this, so it comes down a bit, and then we also need to do the same thing here. So we take it out like this. All right, so we have this now. Okay, so then the next thing that we have to do here is that, so let's locate this top part of the frame, okay, of this part of the frame. So we have that from the center here, so we have the distance from this point to this point, okay, so is 44 millimeters, which means from the center here the distance is 22 up. Okay, if you divide 44 by 2, so we have 22. So what we have to do is to take a measurement of 22 millimeters from the center line up. So this is 22 millimeters here. So at this point we are to draw a horizontal line. So we draw a horizontal line to this side, and we also take it to this side. Then we have to take that 15 millimeters, so which is the thickness of this part of the frame from here to here, 15 millimeters. So we come here and take a measurement of 15 millimeters out. So this is 15 millimeters, and we come here also, so we take 15 millimeters from here to this side. So here is 15 millimeters. So at this point we are to draw a vertical line. So we are to draw a vertical line. So from here, so we draw a vertical line like this, okay, and then on this side also, so we draw a vertical line. So here we have this. All right, so we are moving on. All right, so next thing that we are to do is that let's now work on this part of the frame. We have a web here, we have a web here, and then we have these curves that we have to bring out. So we do it one by one. So from the center down, from the center to this surface, so we have 22 from the center to this line, and then from this line to this line here, we have 26. Okay, so 22 plus 26, that will give us 48. So we are taking a measurement of 48 millimeters. So on this line, I will take a measurement of 48 millimeters. So 48 millimeters. So from the center line, okay, so from the center line down, so we take 48 millimeters. So this is 48 millimeters here. So we have this. So at this point, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. So that horizontal line is meant for this horizontal line here. Okay, so we have to draw horizontal line. So here, okay, so we have this horizontal line like this. Okay, so let's bring this down. So we take a vertical line down here like this, and then here we bring this down as a vertical line. So we also bring this down as a vertical line like this, and then we also bring this down as a vertical line. So we have this. All right, so having done this, the next thing that we are to do, so the next thing that we are to do is that, so the thickness from here to here is 18 millimeters. So the thickness is 18 millimeters. But before we did take that 18 millimeters, let's look at the midpoint here, because we have the length from here to here is 150 millimeters, and then length from the center of this hole, there is a hole here which is hidden on the front elevation of the frame. So from here to here is 120, and then we have a cut under that cannot be seen from outside, which distance from here to here is 100. As it is seen here, it is drawn with short dashes line. It can be seen. It is under the frame, so we also need to work on that. So what we are to do now is that I want us to get the midpoint here so that we can be able to take those measurements. So from here, so we have everything from here to here to be 50 millimeters, approximately 50 millimeters, but I will make it I will approximate as 50. So break it down into 225. Okay, so that means this is the middle point. So from this point we divide 150 by 2, that is 75. So we take a measurement of 75 millimeters from this line to this side. This is 75 millimeters, and then from here also, from this middle point, we take 75 millimeters to this side. So we have this, and then we have to draw a vertical line. So from this point, so we take a vertical line So we take it down a bit like this, and then on this side also, so we also draw a vertical line down. So we have this, and then we now take a measurement of 18 millimeters, 18 millimeters down. So this is 18 millimeters here. So we have this to be 18 millimeters. So at this point, we are to draw a horizontal line. So we draw a horizontal line from here to here. So we have this, okay? We have this, okay? So now, so let's look at the next thing that we are to add to this, okay? So looking at this now, so let's work on this hole. So distance from here to here is 120. So 120 by 2 will give us 60. So from this middle line, okay, we take 60 millimeters to the left side, and then we also take 60 millimeters from this middle line, or the middle point. We take 60 millimeters to the right side. So we have this. So at this point, we have to draw a vertical center line on this. So this will be the center of the hole. So we have this, and also we also put it here as the center of the hole. So we have this. All right, so then the next thing that we are to do is that let's put the hole there. So the diameter of the hole as shown to us here is 10 millimeters. So 10 millimeters by 2 will give us 5 millimeters. So from here, so we take 5 millimeters to the left side. So 5 millimeters to the left side, and 5 millimeters to the right side here. So we have this, and then on this side we do the same thing. So 5 millimeters to the left side, and then 5 millimeters to the right side. So we draw that that hole. So it will be drawn with short dashes line. So it is drawn with short dashes line. Okay, so we have all right, so we have it drawn with short dashes line like this. Okay, so on this side we do the same thing. So we draw it with short dashes line. So we have this. All right, so then on this side we do the same thing. So we draw it with short dashes line. Okay, so we have this, and then here also we also do the same thing. So drawing it with short dashes line. So here we have this. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so then the next thing that we are to do is that we need to bring out this part, that is the cut under the whole frame. So we have that from here to here is 100 millimeters, and then the distance from here to here is given at this end here as 5 millimeters. So we have to bring it out with the curve. So let's quickly work on that. So what we are to do, so we need to get that. So we need to get that 100 millimeters. So let's bring out the middle point here. Okay, so from this point, I will take a measurement of 5 millimeters to the left side, 5 millimeters to, 50 millimeters, not 5 millimeters. So 50 millimeters to the left side and 50 millimeters to the right side. So at this point, I'm going to erect a vertical line, just a short vertical line like this here. And I'll also do the same thing here, a short vertical line here. Then we take that 5 millimeters. So this is 5 millimeters here. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line at this point. So we draw a horizontal line. So from here to here. So here we have this. Okay, so to now produce the curve. So to produce the curve, so what we are to do, that curve is a very small curve, so which I'm going to work out. So I will take 5 millimeters in because the radius of that curve is not given to us. So what I will just do is that I will take 5 millimeters to this side. Okay, then coming here also, I will take 5 millimeters to this side. Okay, so we have this. Okay, then I will make a short vertical line within this space, and also a short vertical line so within this space here. So we have this. So I'm going to use my hand to bring out the curve. I will use my hand to bring out the curve. Okay, so so we just make it a curve like this. Okay, so we have this, and then here also, so I will use my hand to bring out the curve. So we have this. Okay, so the curve is hidden. That cut under the frame is hidden from outside. So what we just have to do is to make this short dashes line. So we make this short dashes line. So from here, okay, so we have this, and then here we complete this, and here we complete this. Okay, so we have this now. So for the whole of this line that we have here, so we have to make it a thick line all through as we see it in the given view. So we make it a thick line, okay, all to this end. So we have this. All right, so then other things that we have here, so we have a curve here, so we also have a curve here. Let's bring out that curve. Okay, so what I'll just do, so what is distance from here to here? So this distance is 10 millimeters. So I'm going to take a measurement of 10 millimeters. I'm creating a square of length 10 millimeters here, like this. Okay, so I'm going to, so I will form it here like this. Okay, so for that curve, so we are going to make use of the French curve to bring out that curve. We use the French curve to bring out the curve. So we'll be making use of this. So I'll make use of this. So setting it like this. So I'll bring out this curve here. So so from the curve like this. Okay, and then here also I'll do the same thing to form the curve. Okay, so I will set the French curve like this. Okay, so then I will turn it round. All right, so we have formed the curve here. So we need to make this line to make it a thick line from here to here, and we also make this a thick line from here to here. All right, so we also have other curves that we have here. So we have a curve here on this part of the frame, a curve here, here, and here. So let's work on that. So the radius of that is not given to us, so I'll just make it 5 millimeters each. Okay, so I'll take a measurement of 5 millimeters here. So this is 5 millimeters. So I'm going to, so I will use the T-square. So all right, so we have this. Then the next thing that I'm going to do here, so I want to create a square of length 5 millimeters on this part, so for us to bring out the curve. So this is 5 millimeters. So here is 5 millimeters here. So we have this 5 millimeters, and then here also we have this to be 5 millimeters, and then here we have this to be 5 millimeters. So we form a square of length 5 millimeters on each of these points. Okay, so we have this. Okay, and then here we have this. Okay, then here we have, okay, then so here we have this. All right, so that is the square. So what we are to do now is to form the curve. Okay, so for this particular one, so let me see if I can use the French curve to bring it out. So I'll just manage to use the French curve. So by drawing this from here to here, and then here also, so we also form the curve here like this. Okay, so then I will turn this to this side, so turn the French curve like this to form the curve on this part. Okay, so here we form the curve here, and then here we also form the curve on this part. So we have the curve here. All right, so all the curves are being formed. So other thing that we are to do here is to make this line. So from this point here, we make it a thick line, and then we now put the web. So making this line a thick line from here to this end. So we have this. All right, so that is it. So now let's put the web. So we have the web, this is the web, this is the web here. So we have to put the web. So we have that from this line to this point for the web. So we have 26 millimeters. So we have taken a measurement of 26 millimeters from here up. So this is so we have 26 millimeters here. So here is 26 millimeters. So let's mark it here. So with the our T-square on this side here. So we mark it here. So we have that if you look at what we have here for the web, so this line, this straight line of the web, it stops on this line here. That's where it stops. So we need to do that now. So we draw a line from this point where we have that 26. So we draw a straight line from here. So it touches this point, stops here, and then we also draw okay, so we have this. Okay, so then the next thing that we have to do is to bring in these bolts. So these bolts are the nuts, and then we have a washer. You have a washer here that we have to lay on this surface. So we have the washer also has the same diameter of 19 millimeters. So that's what we have as the diameter of the washer. So let's quickly work on that. So what we have to do, so these are 19 that we have already taken with diameter of the bush, and then the washer that we lay inside the frame there. So we just extend it to here, and we extend this one. We also extend it to this side. So we have this, and then coming down here, we do the same thing by extending this out. So we extend this out. Okay, so we have this. So then we take 2 millimeters. This thickness is also 2 millimeters for the washer. So we take 2 millimeters from this point. So this is 2. So here is 2 millimeters, and then here also we have 2 millimeters here. So what we have to do now is that we make this line a thick line. So we make it a thick line from here to here. So we have this. Okay, so this line now, so let's just make it a thick line, this line on the frame. So we make it a thick line from here down like this. Okay, and then this also line, this line, we also make it a thick line from here down. So we have it from here to here. Okay, then here also we also make this line a thick line from here to here. So we have this, and then this line we also make it a thick line, so from here down. Okay, so we have this. So then so this line on the top of this part of the frame, so we have to make it a thick line as it is shown to us in the given drawing. So we have this. All right, so then okay, so we still have this line here for this outer washer on which we are laying the nut. So we also need to make it a thick line from here to here. So we have this. All right, so then so we make this more visible, and then this line making it more visible, and this. Okay, so we have this now. So now, so let's look at the next thing that we are to do. So is to bring in, so we have to bring in this bolt and nut. So what we have to do is that so the length of the bolt from this surface of the end of the bolt to this line is 103, so 103 millimeters. Okay, so it's 103 millimeters. So we need to take a measurement of that 103 millimeters. So let's take that measurement. So it will start from here. So it will start from this line here. So 103 millimeters forward. So this is 103 millimeters. So we have 103 millimeters here. So at this point, we are to draw. So we have to draw a short vertical line like this. So let's just leave it like this. All right, we have this now. Let's work on the knot. So we have to produce this knot, and we have to produce this. Okay, so to produce a knot like this as shown to us, so what you are to do, first of all, what is the thickness of the cylindrical part of this bolt? Okay, so the thickness is 15 millimeters. It is shown to us here because this bolt is entering into the bush. As we insert the bush into the pulley, so we insert the bolt inside the inside the bush. Okay, then it is shown to us here that there is a hole inside this bush whose diameter is 15 millimeters. That is diameter of this bolt. Okay, take note of that. Now what you have to do is that you multiply that 15 millimeters. So because that 15 millimeters is the diameter of the major circle of an hexagonal knot. Okay, so we multiply that 15 millimeters by 1.5. So 1.5 times 15 millimeters will give us 22.5. Okay, to give us 22.5. So we just make it 22. So make it 22 millimeters. So let's make it 22, or let's make it 24. So I will just take it as 24 millimeters. It's not going to be measured. Okay, just take note of that. So we'll make it 24 millimeters. So that is my decision on that. So we are to come out here and then we draw a vertical center line like this. Okay, so we add this, then we take the compass. So we take the compass and we divide that 24 by 2. So that will give us 12 millimeters. So we take a measurement of 12 millimeters. So we take 12 millimeters. So we take 12 millimeters and then we draw half of a circle or a semicircle. So we draw a semicircle like this. Okay, so we draw a semicircle like this, and then so now take the compass. So we put the pin here. So we put the pin here and we make an arc here. So make an arc. Okay. So make an arc here on this semicircle. So putting it here, we also make an arc here on this semicircle. So we have this. Okay. All right. So what we okay. So we want to use it to produce the surface of the knot that is shown to us. So that's what we want to use it for. So I need to extend this line up and down like this. Okay, so this is what we want to form. So we want to form this view that we see here and this view that we see here on both and the knot. That's what we want to use it for. So look at what I'm going to do. So from this point here, from this point, we are to draw horizontal line. So from here we draw horizontal line from this point here. So draw horizontal line, and then we come here also. So we take that horizontal line out like this. So we come to this point. So we come to this point on the semicircle. So we also take horizontal line here from here to here, and then we also take it out like this on this part. Okay, so we come to this point here on the semicircle. So we also draw a line from here, touch this like this. Okay, so then we also take it out from here to here. Okay, then we come to this point on the semicircle. So we also draw a horizontal line. Okay, and then we draw this out from here. All right, so these are what we are going to use to form the face of the hexagonal knot. All right, so now the next thing that we have to do is to determine the thickness of the knot from here to here, and also they are of the same size or they are of the same thickness. So we have to determine the thickness from here to here. So to determine the thickness, what you have to do is that you multiply that 15 by 0.8. Multiply 15 by 0.8. So 15 times 0.8 will give us approximately 12 millimeters. I think it's 12 millimeters or approximately. Okay, so that we have to take a measurement of 12 millimeters from this point forward, 12 millimeters forward. So from this line, so we take 12 millimeters forward. So here is 12 millimeters here. So this is 12 millimeters. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so this is so here is 12 millimeters, and then on this side also we also take 12 millimeters from this point backward. So this is 12 millimeters here. Don't forget what I said, that for us to get the thickness of the knot from here to here or from here to here, so we multiply that 15 millimeters, which is diameter of the major circle. Okay, so we multiply by 0.8, and that will give us 12 approximately, or exactly 12 millimeters. So what we are to do here now is that we are to draw a vertical line from here to here, and then we come to this end, we also draw a vertical line from here to here. So we have this. Okay, so the next thing that we have to do is to form the curved part of the knot. We have to form the curved part of the knot. That is the next thing that we have to do. So I'm just going to use my hand to bring out the curved part. Okay, or another thing that we have to do, this line, you know, there's a short straight line here, a short straight line here. That should be done with 30-degree set square, with 30-degree set the set square. Okay, so we have to, let's do that. Okay, okay, so with 30-degree part of the set square, so let's bring out that part. Okay, so just okay, so let's have it this way. Okay, and then so for this part, so we also have it so from here to here. Okay, so we usually use 30-degree. Okay, so and then so for this, so we also draw so from here to here, and then for this part, so we also have from here to here. All right, so we have that. So then the curve part, so the curve part I'm going to use so let me use a French curve to form the curve here. So curve that we have here in the middle part here. So I'm using the French curve to form that curve. Okay, so I will also use the French curve to form the curve here. So just set it like this. Okay, and we form the curve. So gently form the curve here like this. Okay, so we are following the space between this and this. Okay, and for this one, so we also use just use my hand to form this, and also for this one, so I'll use my hand to form curve here like this. Okay, so and then here also, so I'll use my hand to form the curve here, and then here also we do the same thing, so using my hand to form this curve here. All right, so we have this. So then other things that we have to do here is to draw a line from here to here, and then we draw a line from here to here. So we have this. Okay, so then we have to make this line a thick line from here to here. So making this also a thick line from here to here. So making this a thick line from here to here, and then so make this a thick line from here to here, and then down here, so we make it a thick line from here to here, and then so we do the same thing here. So making this line a thick line from here to here, and then we have to make this line, so make it a thick line, so from here to here, then we make this a thick line like this. So making this a thick line, and also make this a thick line from here to here. So we have this. Okay, so okay, so that is for the knot. So but for the bolt we are not done, so we still need to work on it. So the thickness is 15 millimeters. So when we insert it, it will be hidden. Okay, so we are to divide that 15 millimeters by 2. So 15 millimeters by 2 is 7.5 millimeters. 7.5 millimeters. So here we have from here, so this is 7.5 millimeters down here, and then we take 7.5 millimeters up. So this is so here we have this to be 7.5 millimeters. Okay, so what we have to do with this is that we are to draw short dashes line. So we have to draw short dashes line. It will be hidden. Okay, so it will be hidden. So from here, so we draw short dashes line. Okay, so we take it easy. Okay, so up to this end, and then so we come up here, so we also draw from here, All right, so we have this. Okay, so for the bolt. Okay, so then outside here, so we are going to see this. Okay, so this end. Okay, and part of what we have to put outside here, so we have to take 1 millimeter out inside. Okay, and then so make use of this as that 1 millimeter. So here we have the bolt. Okay, so we have the bolt inside it. So we have assembled it. So this is the front elevation of the assembly. So this is the front elevation. So front elevation. So front elevation of the assembled parts. Okay, so here we are, the front elevation of the assembled part. So thank you. We have answered question Roman figure 1. So we'll meet on that of Roman figure 2. Thank you and God bless you.